Hello all and welcome, and I am the Realist Philosopher, and this is the Realist Den, where it's 100% raw, 100% real, 100% of the time, baby! Hooah! I love that intro. So how y'all doing today? Hope you're all doing good, fine, and well. So, in this video, I would like to talk about the bizarre world that we are now living in, when this kind of thing is news. And what I mean by this kind of thing is this: UK trans woman outraged that she still has to shave her face twice a day. I love it. It's hilarious. Good Lord. Trans woman, by the way. Is there a distinction between that and real women? So I got to put a modifier in front of that. Trans woman. So there's a difference between a trans woman and an actual Wayman. Thought everything was equivalent. Anyway, so yeah, anxious and frustrated Jessica Sampson. Sampson, you got the jawbone of an ass to beat me to death because I'm laughing at you? I guess that long hair is the source of his strength. Oh, her, excuse me. Sampson is stuck in limbo. Very manly man who has to shave twice a day. Fucking A. Awaiting Britain's healthcare system to complete his gender reassignment process by removing his facial hair. Notice I'm not saying her because I'm not going to bow down to the crazies and use the pronouns that they want me to use. So, this crazy person, and by the way, let's just say it right here and now. This is not an attractive Wayman, okay? Just by typical objective standards, I mean, there's literally no delineation between the chin and the neck. What do we call that? So chin, neck, chineck. She's got a chineck. No chin, no neck. It's just all one boxy unit. Good Lord. So her and her chineck. Ugh, good Lord. Horrible hairdo, by the way. Think that's real? Think this dude's a ginger, or is that just a wig? Who knows? Anyway, so he starts by saying, I've had my head in my hands crying so many times about this. Oh, boy. He told the Salisbury Journal on Wednesday, this right here, I'll tell you, yeah, that, well, you know, Wayman will cry a lot too, but we men are not equipped for all this estrogen pumping through our systems, okay? Our brains just are not equipped for this amount of emotion, right? We're not emotional beings like women. And that's as it should be. Why is he crying? I have to shave my face. He told the Salisbury Journal on Wednesday, they need to realize they are mucking around with people's lives. Who's they? What are you talking about? They. Probably means the government, who hasn't gotten down on all fours and prostrated themselves to His Holiness, this trans dude, and done everything they can to get rid of his facial hair. Sampson, the word Delilah pops right into my freaking head, except, of course, you know, this dude, if he likes Wayman himself, he would call himself a lesbian, not a hetero dude, right? You gonna get rid of the cock toe? Oy vey. Sampson, 39, began his transition into a woman in July. The procedure, which includes surgery and hormonal treatment, is fully covered by the National Healthcare Service. You Brits are crazy. You're out of your friggin' minds. Somebody's got a mental disorder. They think they're the opposite sex. You're going to give them surgery to change them into that. What if they think they're a rock? what if they think they're a rock? You're going to give them plastic surgery to make them look like a rock? Or what if they think they're Stay Puft Marshmallow Man? You're going to give them surgery to look like Stay Puft Marshmallow Man? Oh, well, I think this dude already got that surgery. Him and his chineck. Okay, so anyway. Oh, boy. Yeah. Britain's universal healthcare system covers all this, and his demand for the procedure has ballooned. Well, sure. Sure, I mean, if you vilify being a man, and you give all these nice little rewards and incentives for being abroad, I would imagine a lot of guys would opt for it, yeah. Many transgendered people who have applied for it themselves are stuck in interminable waiting lists. A recent report described the backlog as out of control. Well, you know, you could just stay what you are, right? I mean, you are what you are. You can't change what you are. You can get all the surgeries in the freaking world. An egg can try to be something else than an egg, but it ain't anything else except an egg, right? I mean, unless, of course, it's a, a human egg, right? And then it gets fertilized with a sperm. Then it'll become a person eventually. But you're a person. You can't be anything other than a person, all right? You're a man. You can't be a Wayman. So Samson has been waiting since July. Oh, boo-hoo. His next procedure, for which he has already been approved, is the removal of facial hair, which the NHS guideline defines as an essential part of the gender reassignment. Essential? Yeah, all this make-believe, right? It's hard to be running around LARPing, right? It's hard to have live-action role-playing be your life, be your reality, become your reality. If you're LARPing as abroad and you got a beard. I can see where that might be a problem. Although, you could decide to be one of those, like, bearded ladies in carnivals, right? You could make a fortune. By the way, are any of those carnivals still left? Do any of the younger generation even go to carnivals unless they're not dragged by their parents? I don't think people go to carnivals anymore, so I don't think that the bearded lady's a thing anymore, which is too bad, because you could have made a bundle. Of course, you're not technically a lady, so I don't know who'd want to pay to see you. Of course, you're pretending, and you don't have to tell them that you're an actual dude masquerading as a Wayman. So yeah, nickel here, a quarter there to see the bearded lady. Yeah. You could pay for your surgery right quick that way. Oh, but no, the taxpayers have to pay for you to LARP, right? It's difficult to explain why this is a big issue to anyone who hasn't had trans thoughts. Trans thoughts? What does that mean? I think that, what do you mean? People have thought about being a woman and what it must be like? I'm sure all guys have had that thought at one point in their life. What's it like to be a woman? And then you realize it's great. It's not a really difficult question to answer. I mean, women have it made in the shade. Men bow down to them and worship them. Women can get sex whenever they want it. They've got affirmative action. There's 70% of people going to university. Even if they muck up their life to the umpteenth degree, they'll never end up homeless because all they got to do is open their legs. I mean, it's pretty good to be a lady, which is, of course, why you want to be one of them, obviously. Yeah, so he told the Journal, but I've been on hormones long enough for my body to start changing, but not long enough that you don't need to shave twice a day. But I still grow a beard every day, and I have to shave twice a day to maintain some sort of normal lifestyle. What do you mean normal? That's nothing normal, pretending to be something else, right? This would be like me running around and playing cops and robbers, or cowboys and Indians 24/7, all right? Well, 16 hours a day, because I obviously have to sleep sometime, right? But, yeah, it would be like me pretending to be the cowboy or the Indian, and that's my life, right? That's not normal. It's up to you, the taxpayer, to pay for my fantasy life and my make-believe life. Samson said that oh my God, that living through this drawn-out intermediary state has left him distraught. Poor you. But you made this decision, right? You made this decision. You entered into this change knowing how long it takes. And by the way, you're opting for other. This is what really annoys me. Other people are paying for this dude's fairy tale make-believe lifestyle, and he's complaining. Hey, pal, why don't you shut your freaking mouth and just be happy somebody else is willing to pay for this nonsense? Which they shouldn't be, by the way. I've had my head in my hands crying so many times about this. Well, boo, hoo. After 5 months of letters to the NHS that went unanswered, she went on a wild goose chase trying to locate the service provider that was supposed to handle his surgery. When that too led nowhere, she filed a complaint. Yeah, and because you're a trans person, right, you have far more power and influence than a regular heterosexual person. So, yeah, one of the only responses he received was from a hospital official saying that funding has been delayed. Imagine that. A country with a huge tax rate and, going bankrupt because of people like you sucking off the teat of the system, sucking everybody else dry, stealing their money. Imagine that. They're having trouble finding money to fulfill your fantasy life. Yes. Honestly, I broke down when I read that email, he said. Because I actually thought the hospital were working for me, but were being blocked by a higher authority. And then suddenly I discovered that actually they're not doing what they need to do. You gotta love the entitlement, right? What they need to do. What they need to do is help me to be what I, in my mentally ill state, imagine myself to be. I mean, if this person wanted to be a rabbit, and was complaining that the hospital hadn't kicked into high gear their efforts to get the funding to turn her into a rabbit, what do you think people would say? This person's nuts. They're out of their freaking mind. They're talking about getting their skin peeled off and getting a fur coat of rabbit skin put on them, which, by the way, wouldn't work, because the DNA wouldn't match up and you would just die from rejection and then, of course, having no skin. But anyway, yeah, you'd think this person was out of their fucking mind, right? Oh, but it's perfectly normal for a man to become a Wayman, but not a rabbit. What's the difference? It's so stupid. Yeah, they need to help you, right? So every little whim, every little fancy that you have, they need to help you, right? This is absurd to me. Unbelievable. You got people all over the world. They're starving. They need help. People who are genuinely in need of assistance. They're going to die in a very short period of time. That's real need. You? No, that's not real need. You wanting to be a Wayman, even though you're a man. It looks like you got plenty to eat, by the way. Samson, who lives in Bristol, said he appreciates how far public acceptance of it's really public assistance, all right? Public acceptance of transgender people in UK is coming recent. Yeah, acceptance. You mean tolerance, which has led to this kind of acceptance. Yeah, which is not a good thing, by the way. You start tolerating and accepting mental illness and feeding into people's whims and flights of fancy, you're going to have these kinds of things explode exponentially, which is, of course, why the UK is going bankrupt and their NHS is really already insolvent. They're just printing money ad infinitum to keep this thing going. But he worries that his incident was just the tip of the iceberg. So yeah, this entitled dude is angry because he has to shave twice a day. And it's your fault somebody out there isn't paying their fair share. Of course, what would really be 100% fair is if this person paid for it themselves, right? But that's not possible because it's so expensive, right? So, of course, to make this person happy, to make this person feel whole and complete in their mental illness that leads them to believe they're not whole and complete when really they're just suffering from a malfunction of the brain, it's up to us. It's up to all of us to kick in to make this person happy, right? What about all the failed actors out there? What about all the failed artists and all the losers of the world, right? Why don't we just kick in even more money into the public coffers to do everything we can to transform their lives so that they're happy, right? Oh, you're a failed actor? Well, let's give you some money so you'll feel like a successful actor. Let's open a theater for loser actors. Let's open a theater for people who can't really act very well, but they want to be actors and they're so unhappy that they can't be actors. Well, now they can be actors. I get to say I'm an actor, and we'll give them money to perform in these crappy plays that nobody wants to see. We'll, in fact, pay people to go see these shows, right? And then we'll take the money out of the public coffers and give it to these losers who really can't act very well, but they're very unhappy because they don't get to act. Sure, why not, right? I want to be a movie star. Well, let's start a whole movie industry for people who didn't get to be the movie star. Yeah, we'll start a movie industry for bad actors because lots of people out there wanted to be actors and they're unhappy. And CEOs. Yeah, we'll fund the creation of companies, corporations for people who want to be CEOs. They're not very good. They're not very good entrepreneurs, right? But we'll fund it anyway. And if they fail in their first endeavor with the money we give them, we'll just give them more money. And if they fail again, we'll give them even more money. If they fail again, we'll give them even more and more and more and more money as they continue to fail because, hey, it's important that everybody be happy, right? And is able to fulfill whatever delusions they might have, be them delusions of grandeur, or being a Wayman when you're not one. This insanity has to stop. Do you agree with me? Do you think this is insane as I do? Do you think I am cruel and callous and that I'm not trying hard enough to understand this person's plight, as well as failed actors and entrepreneurs? Well, whatever you might think, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section. Please like and subscribe to this video. And if you would like to support my very red-pilled content, check out my Patreon pages. I have 2 of them. I also produce a podcast twice a week that is even more raw and more red-pilled than this video, if you can believe that. It's so raw and so red-pilled that I couldn't put it on YouTube, because if I did, it would get banned immediately, and whatever channel it was on would get banned as well. So you might want to check that out. And again, if you'd like to support my work, I have 2 Patreons, one which is a per month donation and one which is per podcast. And again, I produce 2 podcasts a week. So if you wanted to donate $1 per podcast, it would be like $8 a month. And also, I suggest that you follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Whenever I post a new video or a new podcast, I always post the link in those places first. And that's it. I am the Realist Philosopher, and I wish you a good day. Take care.